this trip wasn't even supposed to happen. When my friend told me Asiana Airlines was selling tickets to Korea for only 8,000 pesos, I honestly thought it was a glitch. Next thing I knew, I was on their website booking seats for me and my mom, and it only cost me 16,000 pesos in total. It's also an interesting moment to be flying Asiana, knowing the airline is on borrowed time before it fully merges into Korean Air by the end of next year. In this video, join me on a last-minute trip from Manila to Seoul, South Korea with Asiana Airlines. Hi there, my name is Earl and welcome back to Biyahe Manes. We arrived at NAIA Terminal 1 a little under 3 hours before departure, and thankfully the terminal was calm and manageable. One of the biggest changes since my last visit in May is the installation of multiple self-check-in kiosks now placed at the center of the terminal. As of this filming, they aren't operational yet, but once they go live, passengers will be able to scan passports, print boarding passes, and generate luggage tags on their own. These kiosks will eventually be paired with self-bag drop counters to speed up the entire check-in process. We'd already checked in online, so we skipped the regular counters and went straight to bag drop. The line was shorter, but the whole process still took a while. And when it was finally our turn, the ground staff still asked for a copy of our Korean visa, which I found a bit redundant considering Asiana's online check-in already requires you to upload all your visa details before it lets you proceed. Asiana Airlines doesn't just carry passengers bound for Seoul. A huge portion of their Manila flight connects onwards to major cities in the United States. Strangely enough, this wasn't supposed to be my first time flying Asiana. Back in March 2020, we were supposed to fly with them to New York and from Los Angeles, but we all know what happened next. Still, I'm grateful because they refunded our tickets in full back then. Immigration and security took less than 5 minutes, so let's head straight to the lounge. After the successful launch of the brand new 6,000 square meter mezzanine food hall at NAIA Terminal 3 in October 2025, NNIC also announced plans for a similar food hall here at Terminal 1. So it's only a matter of time before we say goodbye to these post-security shops. As of filming, these are some of the available dining and coffee options at NAIA Terminal 1. We made our way to the PAGSS Lounge for a quick snack. These are the ever-changing credit cards that grant lounge access. Feel free to pause the video to see if you have any of them. After swiping our card, the staff checked our boarding pass and directed us to the extension lounge just across the main one. I've toured both lounges multiple times in past videos, so feel free to check those out if you want a more detailed review. If you're new to the channel, my name is Earl and welcome to Biyahe Manes. I do trip reports and airport lounge tours. So if you love aviation content, please consider subscribing. It's almost our boarding time, so let's head to our gate. Our aircraft for this red-eye flight is a 13-year-old Boeing 777-200ER, registered Hotel Lima 8254.
To Incheon for efficient boarding.
Thank you. Welcome on board Asiana Airlines Flight OZ704 bound for Incheon. Economy class on this aircraft is in a 333 layout and my seat for tonight is 14A. Waiting on each seat is a pillow and a blanket. The pillow is a decent size, though the filling feels a little worn, while the blanket is quite thin, but that's manageable since Asiana keeps the cabin on the warmer side. Legroom is generous, and if you're by the window like I was, you get a bit of extra space here. The tray table is bifold and can slide forward and backward. In the seat back pocket, you'll find an air sickness bag, the safety card, and a pair of headphones. Entertainment comes via a 10.6-inch touchscreen with a remote just underneath. The screen can also be tilted to your preferred viewing angle to reduce glare. On the left is a coat hook, and on the opposite side, you'll find a USB-A charging port. There's also a universal power socket shared between every two seats. Finally, the headrest is adjustable. You can slide it up and down and fold the sides inward for better support and comfort.
여러분, 안녕하십니까? 저는 참 여러분을 서울 인천 국제공항까지 안전하게 모신 기장 노철현입니다. 스타라이언 아시아나 항공과 함께 즐겁고 편안한 여행 되시길 바랍니다. 감사합니다. Captain 노철현 from the flight. Welcome aboard Asiana Airlines. The member of Starlion.
About 20 minutes after takeoff, the cabin crew began the meal service. For dinner, there were two options: braised beef with mashed potatoes or chicken congee. I went with the beef. For drinks, I had a Coke Zero. The tray came with metal cutlery too, which is always a nice touch. The beef was tender and flavorful, and the portion size was generous. The mashed potatoes were smooth and creamy, and the zucchini on the side was cooked well and complemented the dish nicely. The coleslaw, however, was a bit bland, and the pandesal was pre-packaged, so it arrived a little cold. A few minutes later, the crew came around with coffee or tea. I tried the coffee, and it was just alright. Let's take a look at Asiana's in-flight entertainment system. The touchscreen TV was a bit unresponsive to light touches, and there was a slight delay in response. You can even see the cursor, which shows how dated the system is. Content-wise, there's a good mix of Hollywood movies and Korean films. However, the selection on Korean series was a bit underwhelming. I was expecting a stronger K-drama selection because after all, it's a Korean airline. I honestly thought there'd be more local shows. The user interface is also outdated. There's a lot of content to explore, but it could be organized much better. In-flight maps are available with multiple flight views, though they're not fully interactive due to touchscreen limitations. Annyeonghaseyo, let's explore the lavatory of this Asiana Airlines 777. On this side, you'll find some napkins, a standard sink, hand gel and hand lotion, paper cups, the toilet, a mirror, another mirror, and finally a coat hook. We've started our descent to Incheon, so let me conclude this trip report with Asiana Airlines. Our journey began at NAIA Terminal 1 where check-in, security, and immigration were all a breeze. Soon, the process should be even faster with the introduction of self-check-in kiosks and self-bag drop facilities. We spent some time at the PAGSS Extension Lounge, enjoying the usual arroz caldo and dim sum fare. Once on board, the seat offered generous legroom, but the cabin's temperature stayed warm throughout the flight. For late dinner, the beef was tender and the mashed potatoes were smooth and buttery. The cabin crew were warm and attentive to passengers' needs. I just wish the in-flight entertainment had been a bit more organized. There was plenty of content, but it felt scattered. Overall, it was a pleasant red-eye flight with Asiana Airlines. As for the ticket prices, Asiana Airlines often joins bank-initiated travel sales with round-trip fares typically around $240 to $250 or roughly 15,000 pesos, which is already quite reasonable. So you can imagine my surprise when their airline-initiated sale let me snag a round-trip ticket for just $140 or around 8,000 pesos. That's incredibly cheap, comparable to budget carriers like Cebu Pacific. But remember, this is a full-service airline, which includes a meal and a 23 kg checked baggage. With Asiana Airlines set to merge into Korean Air within the next year, who knows if they'll drop more deals like this before then. So keep an eye out for upcoming sales. Thank you so much for joining me on this trip report. If you enjoy the content, please leave a like and consider sharing this video with your family and friends. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this Asiana Airlines trip report in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons so you stay updated and never miss out on future content. I look forward to having you again in my next video. Annyeong!
May I have your attention, please? Jeju Air Flight 2604, scheduled for arrival at 6.
当空港リムジンバスをご利用いただきまして誠にありがとうございます。当空港リムジンバス6001番はインチョン国際空港